Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Soheb and you are watching Wrestling Fact.
Top 10 superstars who reject their dream matches. Number 10. Stone Cold Steve Austin refused CM Punk. If it feels like this dream match was close to happening, it's because it was. If Stone Cold was ever going to come back for one more match, it would be for CM Punk. But no matter how hard Punk pushed for it, ultimately it never came to fruition. It was mostly due to Austin refusal to come out of retirement. The promos and build-up to this would have been epic. No offense to Chris Jericho, but can we imagine if at WrestleMania fans got John Cena vs Rock and CM Punk vs Stone Cold? Number 9. Hulk Hogan vs Bret Hart. Bret Hart has gotten the shift quite a bit when it comes to backstage WWE politics. The Montreal screwjob is the obvious one, but back in the earlier 90s, Hulk Hogan refused to pass the previously torch to the Hitman. The WrestleMania 9 ending debacle was agreed open with promise that Hart would face Hulk Hogan and reclaim his WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Later that year, Hogan instead did the job to Yokozuna when he forced Vince to cancel the planned match against Bret Hart because he didn't think they were on the same level. Number 8. Shawn Michaels vs AJ Styles. This is another case of a retired wrestler turning down the opportunity to face a dream opponent. It's a shame down. Michaels was willing to come back for a tag team match with youngest participant being 49 instant one-on-one match against Phenomenal One. Their AJ Styles pun instant would match perfectly as both AJ and HBK were superiorly athlete, high-flying performance who elevate their opponents with their fantastic selling and in-ring physiology. This match would still find a way to steal the show if it happened today. Number 7. Brock Lesnar vs Matt Riddle. Riddle, bless his soul, tried to make a match with Brock happen by claiming he should be the one to retire him. On Twitter, Riddle did this on multiple occasions to the point where Brock and his advocate Paul Heyman report the issues backstage at Royal Rumble 2020, claiming the match would never happen. Number 6. CM Punk vs Triple H. This is actually a dream match fans got to see, but under less than ideal documents. WWE had one of the hottest angles with the Summer of Punk, but they unfortunately it when they involved Triple H and Kevin Nash for some reason. After getting screwed out of his title, Punk would compete against Triple H at BPPV, which he would lose. He would regain the WWE title and hold it for well over a year. Punk was upset at the way he was booked, in particular about how he never main evented at WrestleMania. He was offered a chance to wrestle the game as one of the main events of WrestleMania Triple X, but Punk decided to walk out instead. Number 5. The Rock vs Shawn Michaels. It's no secret that the Shawn Michaels we know and love today wasn't excellent and ideal co-worker back in the 90s. I have been speculate that his reputation and backstage pull were the reason we never got to see him face off against the Great One. The locker room was cut out back then, and Shawn was rumored to be less than appreciate of rising youngster, potentially talking his or young buddy Triple H place. The Rock never forget, as he refused to work with Shawn Michaels upon his return to wrestling in the earlier 2000. Number 4. Stone Cold Steve Austin vs Hulk Hogan. The two biggest stars in wrestling history. We are in the same company at the same time right around WrestleMania season, and they didn't face each other. This was the reality back in 2002, when Stone Cold Steve Austin turned down the chance to stun Hulkmania. Many reasons have floated around as to why the Texas Rattlesnake refused. There were rumors he didn't want to deal with Hogan's notorious ego and politicking. Jim Ross recently shed some light on the matter, explaining how Austin thought their styles wouldn't mesh and how they wouldn't have chemistry. Number 3. Sting vs. Kurt Angle. Everyone wants Sting vs. Undertaker and another match, Sting vs. Kurt Angle. But the wrestling legend Sting refused Kurt Angle. In 2002, Vince was attempted to lure Sting to the company by offering him a matchup against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania X8. Sting definitely considered it, but ultimately refused the match and the contract because he didn't want to commit to WWE rigorous travel schedule. Although the two did end up facing each other in TNA, Sting vs. Kurt Angle at Mania wouldn't been awesome. Number 2. Shawn Michaels vs. Daniel Bryan. The teacher vs. student. It's funny how Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan shared a similar career path, both coming out of retirement following serious injuries. There were reports WWE was trying to capitalize on the Yes Movement's popularity by bringing in Bryan's trainer for an epic matchup, but Shawn Michaels refused the match, choosing to stay retired at the time. But the two did have a confirmation on an episode of